There was this gold ring. My mom's mom, we called her Nanny, she got from her second husband. It was like a cuff ring, so it was like a thicker band. And I thought it was really nice. I thought it was really cool. I was like, I'll wear that. And I guess my mom just kind of thought I was just gonna hold on to it and never wear it. But then I found it in my jewelry box and I was like, I'm gonna start wearing this ring because my grandmother had really, really thin fingers. So I would just wear it as like a cuff on one of these fingers that it fit on. And the one day my mom had said to me, "Why are you wearing that ring?" And I was like, "What do you mean? It was Natty's ring. Of course I'm gonna wear it." She's like, "Okay." Like she thought it was weird that I was wearing it. But I had noticed after over so much time of me like wearing the ring, a lot of like bad things were like, I just wasn't having good luck. I felt like a lot of negative energy in my house. My cousin at the time, she was like really into that kind of, I don't believe in like Wiccan or any of that stuff or, like summoning any of that. I don't believe in that. I'm very, very spiritual and I have very strong faith in God. But there was something in my house that was just heavy and scary. And I was telling her about this and she's like, okay, we're going to sage your house and rid these dark spirits that you're feeling. And I was like, okay. I think I was just feeling like really scared in my own house. And it was only like in my house that I felt this. Like there would be like cold spots in my house, heaviness. I kept smelling like cigarette smoke in this one specific area of my house. And nobody smokes. And this all actually happened after I was diagnosed because I had two of my girlfriends went over to my house to pick up some stuff to bring to my parents because I was still living with my parents at the time. My one girlfriend, Kelly, was like, "Were you smoking in your house?" And I was like, "No, you smell it too." And then Megan said the same thing. She's like, "Your house was like an ice box and it smelled like cigarette smoke." And I was like, ew, I got the chills right now talking about this. And I was like, okay, so I'm not the only one that's feeling this. I'm not losing my mind. So my cousin comes over, she brings sage, and I forget what else she had brought, and she had asked for a cutting board. And we put like these candles on the cutting board, and I was like, this is freaking me out. I don't like any of this. And she saged the house, and she asked me to grab the ring. I felt the energy coming from the ring. So we put the ring on the cutting board, and she like saged that. And she said, "I want you to get rid of this ring." And I said, it's gold. I don't want to get rid of it. And she's like, "You have to get rid of the ring. There's negative energy attached to this ring." So I put the ring in a bag after we had saged my house. And she said, "When you get back, you need to literally scream at these demons." And I was like, this is so weird and creepy. What do you mean I have to scream at them? And she said, "You have to tell them that they don't belong here. This is your house. Rid them of your home." I was like, okay. So I went and I remember running into the woods, deep, deep into the woods, about a mile into the woods. And I dug a hole about elbow deep and I put the ring in the hole by a tree. This way the ring would grow with the tree. And I buried it. And I ran back home. And I remember coming back home and walking into my house and just screaming, just like she told me to, just screaming, "This is my house. This is not your house. Get out of my home. This is my home." And as I was doing it, it felt like my voice was cracking. And I started crying. I felt like they were pissed off. It was like really negative energy. They were really, really angry spirits. And maybe it was just one. I don't even know, honestly. But it was almost like the second I had gotten it all out, like I felt like I said it enough, all of a sudden there was this sense of like peace in my house and happiness. And it was just strange. And ever since then, I haven't felt any of that negativity or I haven't smelt the cigarette smoke, no cold spots. It was almost like they're just gone. Whatever it was that was in my house was gone. But I also remember back like when my grandmother had passed, she had passed on Thanksgiving Day, I forget how many years ago. And I remember getting the call. I answered the phone. And it was my Papa John saying, Nanny just had a heart attack in the car. And everybody's sitting at the dinner table. And I was like, oh my God, Nanny just had a heart attack? My mom was like, what's happening? I gave her the phone. And that same night, I just remember we went to the hospital. I got home from the hospital and I felt something behind me. I turned around, and in the doorway, it was just like a cloud, like a white cloud in the doorway, and I'll never forget it. And I just know it was my nanny who was coming to me. She was making her way around to everybody.